Yo, what's up, dudes? I hope y'all are having a good Sunday. I think. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Christian, what's good? If y'all put requests in the Discord, I'll be looking them up in one moment, so hopefully y'all did. And then I guess we can look through some army time stuff real quick before we start anything else. I don't want to stop doing that, but kind of don't want to do it today, but we are. Just gonna see what's new. So I'll turn the camera on in one moment. I'm doing something. And dude, on the news front, if I miss anything, can y'all please let me know? I feel like y'all keep up with this shit way better than I do. That way it gives us more to do when the requests run low. Yo, Jeff, what's good, man? What's good? Brian, that's fantastic. If one of y'all could like be a lamb and put the link to the Discord in chat, please. That'd be great. I'd really appreciate it. Alright. Yo, have we done that one? A Sniper's Dream? By Chat Music? I feel like we did somebody with a big ass forehead. But it wasn't this guy, it was KSI. That's what it was. David, hey. Kanye released a new song called Hail Hitler. You know, at this point, At this point, man, if you're taking Kanye seriously, you're playing yourself. Actually, he's playing you. I can't take Kanye seriously, man. And at this point in his career and in his life, given all his shenanigans and all of his outrageous statements and all of his outrageous behavior, is anyone really surprised that he made a song called Hail Hitler? That, to me, that just seems par for the course with Kanye. And I can't imagine that anyone, well, I mean, I shouldn't underestimate the softness of people, but I can't imagine anyone would get mad about this because it's just Kanye, man, saying and being retarded. It's just Kanye. Now, surely, if someone who works in Congress is saying the same thing, yeah, we got to do something about that. But we don't really have to do anything about Kanye. It's just Kanye. No. That's... Kanye joined the dark side of the Force. I don't know, man. Kanye knows how to get attention, man, and people give it to him. That's it. He knows how to get attention. Whether he's serious about what he's saying, it doesn't matter. Me personally, I think that he's at that point in his life and he's at that point in his career where he truly does not give a fuck about nothing. Right? And I think he's subconsciously trying to self-destruct because he doesn't give a fuck. Like, almost feel like he just doesn't want to be famous anymore, and he's trying everything in his power to get away from the limelight by either saying these things on purpose or because he truly believes it, because he's trying to get away from Hollywood, trying to get away from the spotlight. But you are Kanye West. You can't get away from the spotlight that easily. That's sometimes being famous, it lasts forever, whether you continue to work on your craft, on what got you famous or not. Man, Michael Jordan hasn't played basketball in decades, and he's still one of the most famous men on the planet. So once you're famous, bro, that shit, it just sticks. So you can't get rid of that. Maybe that's what he's trying to get rid of. Maybe he's just self-sabotaging on purpose because he just doesn't want to be here anymore. He doesn't want to play the game. And he figures, well, what's the most outrageous shit I can say to get everyone to turn on me and I can just be normal? Well, when you start hailing Hitler, bro, I mean, yeah, that's gonna do it. That's gonna piss people off, and that's gonna. But at the same time, it doesn't matter because you're Kanye West. You know, people are gonna still listen to what you say. You've been famous for so long that people actually care, whether it's crazy or whether it's smart. But these days, Kanye doesn't really say anything smart. Oh, you know what? My bad. I'll get it for you, Bryant. Hold on. Here you go. That should work. All right. Saying Nazi shit isn't how you do that. Isn't how you get rid of fame. Really? Because I've seen people get their fame completely canceled for less. So yeah, the Nazi shit will do it. It will. And hell, just because I said that word, I think this stream's gonna get demonetized. So, that'll do it, man. But, I mean, dude, again, once you're famous, you're famous. Remember when Mel Gibson went all fucking racial a couple of years ago? It wasn't even a couple of years ago, bro. It was like over 20 years ago. Remember that? Everybody still likes Mel Gibson, at least to my knowledge. People forget about that shit. Just like people forgot that Michael Vick fought dogs. Just like... Well, nobody really forgot about Casey Anthony's crimes, but you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes people just forget. And it's just whatever in the fucking past. Until some fucking fairy on Twitter finds the clip that's never seen it and they make it a big deal all over again. But... you know? People forget. Unless you do something completely heinous, people tend to forget, especially if it's just words, right? So, here in about 25 years, assuming Kanye lives that long, I don't know the future, people are going to forget that unless 25 years from now, he's still fucking doing this and like, my man, come on, man, you're almost pushing 60 at this point, let it go. But, yeah. Anyways. Well, we were gonna let's look up some. We're gonna look up some what we do, and then we'll get to what y'all requested. And if y'all haven't put a request in, be sure to do so. Try to get to. This okay, hold on. That so overwhelming of a page with so much shit on it. Bro, I hate this. I hate this part. Hegsith bans affirmative action at military service academies. That's a win. Because, yeah. If you know what affirmative action is, that's a win. Right? We can't have that shit in the service. If you want to have that shit like at a law firm or something, or like, I don't know, or at Facebook, sure, whatever. At Target, Walmart, although I think it's stupid, shouldn't do it ever, anywhere. But by all means, military is not the place for that, thank God. Can't believe that was the thing. Whose dumbass idea was that? Yikes. Pentagon orders military to pull all library books on diversity. They are fucking burning everything to the all this foolishness that the Democrats did, man. They are just like, they're fucking sniping the shit out of all of it, like pew, 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 burning everything down that they legally can't. Holy hell, I think I'm gonna have to actually click on this one. Felon hid dead uncle in trash can to keep stealing his veteran benefits. You turd bag. I hope you didn't kill your uncle. Maybe your uncle just died of natural causes. I don't know how old he is. We're gonna see. And you just didn't report that he was dead, which is illegal. I mean, well, that's illegal. I'm gonna go ahead and say that's illegal. You see someone dead, you must report that. And if not for the law, for morality purposes, man, right? So, crazy. All right. A Missouri felon who stored his Army veteran uncle's remains in a trash can was charged this week with 11 counts of fraud and theft for illegally pocketing $650,000 in disability benefits while concealing the death for years. Years inside of a trash can? How does that even happen? That shit starts to smell. It decomposes. I mean, after years, I'm sure it's just bones, but no one smelled that? Depending on where they live, it's Missouri. There's a lot of places in Missouri that's nothing but fucking nothingness. Trees, shit. Department of Justice officials said Brian K. Ditch, 44, faces multiple counts of wire fraud, aggravated identity theft. I don't think I've ever heard anyone get hit with aggravated identity theft. That's when you know it's bad. Because identity theft is just identity theft. Oh, you stole Granny's pension, right? But because this person is dead, it's aggravated. Jesus. And theft of government property. Because, yeah, well, actually, hold on. Wait, what? But theft of government property? What was the government property? Was it the money? Or was it the uncle? Technically, both are property of the government, but just assume both.
Related, he has also been charged with illegal possession of firearms after investigators looking for his uncle found weapons in the home in violation of his parole. He's a felon, he can't have weapons. Nor can a felon vote, right? Right? I think that's also something they can't do. Maybe. I don't know. Court documents said his uncle, Thomas Clubb, was a disabled veteran suffering from dementia and... Oh man, you're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit. Oh, you're gonna get fucked up in prison. Oh yeah, you're gonna get fucked up in prison because while you actually didn't kill your uncle, this man had dementia, quadriplegic. It says quadriplegia, which homie can't use his arms or his legs. I think that's a quadriplegic. Excuse me if I don't know. Became Clubb's primary caregiver in 2008. Yo, wait till the jail cells hear what you did to this old man, to family, bro. That's one. You don't fuck with the elderly in any way, shape, or form. Wait till all these cell blocks hear what you did. You're not gonna have a good time. But investigators charged that Ditch kept his uncle locked in a garage and without proper care for years while stealing his benefits. No, never mind. You're a complete ass scumbag. You were fucking this dude over while he was alive. And because he had dementia and quadriplegia, there's not much he can do. There's not much he can say. He can't defend himself. He can't make decisions. He can't do anything. And you have a complete piece of shit in charge of everything. Stealing his benefit checks, which totaled $9,559 a month. In addition, federal records show Clubb was sent more than $235,000 in Social Security, disability insurance benefits, and retirement insurance benefits over the last 17 years. That is a massive fraud. Over the course of over a decade, Jesus, almost 2 decades. Instead of properly caring for his uncle, Ditch trapped him in the garage for over 24 hours at a time, forcing his uncle to sit in his own urine. Bro, you're gonna get so fucked up in jail without the ability to eat or drink. Because prisoners are gonna find out. They always find out. Always. And don't you dare lie. Because they find out you lied. They're gonna find out one way or another. Investigators charged that after Clubb died in 2019, Ditch continued to pretend he was alive to keep the federal benefit checks from being halted. They said he used the money to buy exotic reptiles and fund lavish vacations for himself. You're so dumb. If you're gonna be a piece of shit like this, you should have put all this money towards, at some point, going off the fucking grid with plenty of money to last you for a couple of decades. You'll eventually run out, but especially spending money like that. But like exotic reptiles, what the fuck are you, bro? Mike Tyson? You committed this crime and didn't even do it correctly. Failed at failing. When local police searched Ditch's home in March, they reported finding Clubb's partially frozen body in a trash can. Oh, so he froze the body. Deal with the decomposition smell. Family members told investigators that Ditch claimed his uncle was being cared for by a nursing home but would not provide details where. They should have called his bluff immediately. And been like, nah dog, you're not getting shit else from us until you can verifiably prove that your uncle, like, this is a failure on the system as well. Really. How this happens for so long under the nose of the system, something's broken within the system. This shouldn't happen. So this guy's a piece of shit, yes, but fix the fucking system. Or, dude, just pay closer attention. Right? It's like I'd rather you go through the procedure and quite possibly piss off a veteran, you know, because the veteran's gonna be like, really? Hold on, what? You're questioning my integrity? And they're gonna be like, and you're gonna say, we have to do this, okay? We just have to. At least do that. Like, I'd rather you go through the procedure and quite possibly piss off a real veteran by questioning his integrity than to not do it and then this shit slips through the cracks and y'all don't notice because y'all don't question, because y'all don't ask. I don't know why, right? You have to ask. There's always people. I'm not going to feel offended if you question me about it, because I do know that there's people out there that will take advantage of the system. It kind of reminds me of when I used to work at a gas station and I would have to ID everyone. It didn't matter how old you looked. It didn't matter if you came in there with gray hair and a cane. Yep, that old guy got mad at me. What are you IDing me for, man? Come on, seriously? I have to, sir. I just have to. Because then it's my ass, right? Now it's your ass. Y'all gotta fix the system. That's unacceptable. I'd rather you go through the procedure and be diligent and double check. And quite possibly, I don't know, maybe it makes the process slightly longer. I'd rather the process take slightly longer and be correct than it go how it's going and be wrong. But let's see. VA's program and services are established to justly compensate deserving veterans, and the VA Inspector General will bring to justice those who would defraud these programs. Yeah. Prior to this investigation, Ditch was previously convicted for burglary and battery charges. He is scheduled to appear in U.S. District Court in St. Louis on Friday, which was 2 days ago. He'll survive prison, but he's not gonna have a fun time. I've never been to prison, but from everything I've seen on TV and in movies and in real documentaries, is that one thing that inmates, criminals, all around, universally do not fuck with, is when you fuck with the elderly and children. You kill a cop, you're fine. They're not gonna bat an eye. You break into someone's house and steal all their shit, no one's gonna bat an eye. You commit millions of dollars worth of fraud, they don't care. Whatever, dog. Cool. But the elderly and the children, you'll pay. You'll pay harder than what the judge gives you. So. And a lot of these people, they know this. They know this, and they do it anyways. All right, let's go back. That might be the only one we need to check. Hold on, let me keep scrolling. Oh shit. Up to 1,000 troops being up to 1,000 transgender troops being separated under a new Pentagon memo. I'm gonna read this one. This is always a hot topic. The Pentagon will immediately begin moving as many as 1,000 openly identifying transgender service members out of the military and give others 30 days to self-identify under a new directive issued Thursday. So, 1,000 of you are out. A few of you have 1 month to become normal again. And if you do not become normal, you're out too. Normal, I mean like you are either a male or you are a female. You got 30 days to decide. Oh shit. Buoyed by Tuesday's Supreme Court decision allowing the Trump administration to enforce a ban on transgender individuals in the military, the Defense Department will begin going through medical records to identify others who haven't come forward. Ooh, so y'all can't hide. Y'all can't hide. Some may not be openly transgender, but they've been going to the doctors to seek information or an actual procedure about this, or some kind of transition hormone, whatever the fuck it is they take, you know, they're gonna find you. And believe you me, they will find you. Hexeth, who issued the latest memo, made his views clear after the court's decision. No more trans. Hexeth wrote in a post on X. Earlier in the day, before the court acted, Hexeth said that his department is leaving wokeness and weakness behind. My man, I still think you're a fucking idiot for that whole Signal debacle, but holy shit. No more pronouns, he told a Special Operations Forces conference in Tampa. No more dudes in dresses. We're done with that shit. Oh, dude. Jesus. That's... Yeah, we're hitting the factory reset on the military. Thank you. I truly appreciate it. Department officials have said it's difficult to determine exactly how many transgender service members there are, but medical records will show those who have been diagnosed with gender dysphoria, who show symptoms or are being treated, like I said earlier. Those troops would then be involuntarily forced out of the service, and no one with that diagnosis will be allowed to enlist. Gender dysphoria occurs when a person's biological sex does not match up with their gender identity. And for the military, an organization that likes to keep things stupid simple, to a degree. Keywords, to a degree. This is too complicated for the service. I said that a couple weeks ago, even a couple months ago, even last year. This is all just too complicated for the military. And it's about uniformity, man. You're not special, you're not different, you're not unique, you don't stand out, nothing. It's uniformity all around, man. And so you got to leave it at the door. You can't be a part of the fight. Does that make sense? That makes sense. You come with too much baggage for the military to accept. And that's just the God's honest truth. So, I mean, I'm a firm believer that as long as you can shoot, move, and communicate, be in the right place at the right time, in the right uniform, I'll fight next to you. And if you can meet the physical standards, you can fight next to me. But, I mean, I agree here, bro. I do. It's just, this is no place for you, man. It's just, you come with too much baggage, you're too complicated of an individual, and the military doesn't have the time nor the resources, quite frankly, the patience to deal with you, to deal with y'all. So, you gotta go. Officials said that as of December 9th, 2024, there were 4,240 troops diagnosed with gender dysphoria in the active duty, National Guard, and Reserve. So that number is all-encompassing for the Army. Or maybe it's all-encompassing for all branches. But they acknowledge that the number may be high. The number may be higher. There are about 2.1 million total troops serving. Which, out of 2.1 million troops, you remove 4,200. That's not even a drop of a drop in the bucket, so... The Supreme Court ruled that the administration could enforce the ban on transgender people in the military while other legal challenges proceed. The court's 3 liberal justices said they would have kept the policy on hold. Why? For what? So that it can be forgotten about and swept under the rug and never looked at again, and never enforced? No, hell no. Neither the justices in the majority or dissent explained their votes, which is not uncommon in emergency appeals. When the initial Pentagon directive came out earlier this year, it gave service members 30 days to self-identify. Since then, about 1,000 have done so. In a statement, Pentagon spokesperson Sean Parnell said that 1,000 troops who already self-identified will begin the voluntary separation process. So these 1,000 troops are leaving on their own from the military. Under the new guidelines, active duty troops will have until June 6th to voluntarily identify themselves to the department, and troops in the National Guard and Reserve will have until July 7th. I don't know why the difference in day for the two, whatever. While it may be difficult to see which troops have changed their gender identity in the military records, it will be easier to determine who has gotten a gender dysphoria diagnosis, because it's just easier to look at the paperwork than it is to look at an actual person, because that will be part of their medical record, as will any medication they are taking. Between 2015 and 2024, the total cost for psychotherapy, gender-affirming hormone therapy, gender-affirming surgery, and other treatment for service members is about $52 million. That's a lot of money. Pentagon officials in an earlier memo defended the ban, saying that medical, surgical, and mental health constraints on individuals who have a current diagnosis or history of or exhibit symptoms consistent with gender dysphoria are incompatible with the high mental and physical standards necessary for military service. I agree with that as well. I just do, man. The same way I agree that females are no good for Navy SEALs and Special Forces. That's just it. Like, physically, they can't do that job. Most of them, 99% of them. Maybe there's one or two, and I'll give them credit wherever credit is due. But you know what I'm saying? It's just like, there's exclusion everywhere within the military, not just towards transgender people, man. And so, and I get this. I really do understand this. Are incompatible with the high mental and physical standards necessary for military service. So you already have so much shit going on inside your head. What would happen if we added PTSD to that, anxiety to that, stressful situations, combat, death, right? What if we just added all that to the already existing problems inside your head? That's not a good mix, man. I get it. I understand. The new Pentagon policy would allow for limited exemptions. That includes transgender personnel seeking to enlist who can prove on a case-by-case basis that they directly support warfighting activities, or an existing service member diagnosed with gender dysphoria can prove they support a specific warfighting need, never transition to the gender they identify with, and proves over 36 months they are stable in their biological sex without clinically significant distress. So basically, y'all are gonna have to talk to a lot of therapists and a lot of head doctors and go through a lot of psychoanalysis before the military lets you hold a weapon. That's it. You're going to have to prove to them without a shadow of a doubt that you can physically and mentally do the job in every circumstance that it means to be a soldier, right? And if you do not check off all those boxes, you can't. If a waiver is issued, the applicant would still face a situation where only their biological sex was recognized for bathroom facilities, sleeping quarters, and even an official recognition such as being called sir or ma'am. Yeah. It's, bro, believe me. the last thing you want in the military is what happened in that prison. I forget what state it was, where they let a man who claimed he was a female in the prison, and a couple of female inmates were raped, sexually assaulted by this man who claimed he was a female. That's the last thing we need in military barracks. That's the last thing we need in a training environment. That's the last thing we need in a combat environment. You don't want to be in a combat environment. Your homie is supposed to have your back, but instead he or she is watching your back. What? No, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, and with the whole sir or ma'am thing, oh man, that would just be like a field day with the officers and shit, and it would just be a shit show, and it would just be so stupid, really. Some of the officers already make that sir and ma'am thing unbearable as it is, so it's some, not all. Met a lot of officers that they hated the idea of being called sir. Met officers that hated the idea of being saluted. And then I met others that they would slice your throat if you didn't do either of those, right? So there's some officers that already make that whole sir and ma'am thing fucking dumb, right? And the last thing we need is you get called by your rank in the military or by your last name. And I know that some officers are weird and they call each other by their first names, but whatever. Well, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's that. That's good news today. All around, I feel. We can go to one more if it's interesting enough. Let's just scroll one more time. A judge awards $680,000 to Hawaii military families over fuel-tainted water. Good. Jesus. Oh, this is cool. I didn't know about this. Shout out to this guy. Army medic receives award for fending off shooter, saving life. A U.S. Army combat medic received an award of courage for providing medical care to a shooting victim while exchanging gunfire with the assailant. Yo, we gotta check some Donut Operator and see if that's there. Sergeant Brian Lieberman. I'm pretty sure Donut Operator will send this guy like a care package or something. Angry cops will give him a POB. Sergeant Brian Lieberman of the 1st Brigade Combat Team, 82nd Airborne, received the Soldier's Medal on Tuesday at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. The Soldier's Medal acknowledges acts of heroism that fall outside the scope of combat with adversaries. That's cool as shit. I didn't know that award existed. So this is the award that you can get that's not military related. That's pretty fucking awesome, and I can't imagine that a lot of soldiers have this award. Pretty unique. Very unique award to have on your service record. Damn, man, kind of jealous now. Specialist Lieberman's, he's a specialist. Damn. This man is going to be the president of the E4 Mafia. Specialist Lieberman's bravery and willingness to risk his life to protect others is in keeping with the finest traditions of military service and reflect great credit upon him, the 82nd Airborne Division, and the United States Army. Yo, that's awesome. Kind of makes me proud. And also, it makes the 82nd proud because the 82nd is usually just known for all of their DUIs, let's be serious. So, Don with the 5. Yo, what's up, fam? Happy Mother's Day to the moms tomorrow. It's Mother's Day tomorrow? Is it? Thank you for reminding me. I gotta call my mom. I just saw my mom this past weekend, but yeah, I gotta call her. Thank you for reminding me. Thank you for the 5. Appreciate it. He reached for his personal firearm, rushing outside to find a victim near the pool suffering from a gunshot wound. Lieberman worked to address an injury to the victim's back. Pussy. Shot him in the back. or shot him as he was running away, using a plastic grocery bag as a chest seal. Oh my god. This guy's amazing. Waiting for his roommate to deliver medical supplies. I went into fight or flight, Lieberman said in a pre-ceremony interview. I reverted back to everything the army taught me. Suddenly, the active shooter drove by in a car, opening fire on Lieberman and the victim. Shoots him in the back, flees, gets in a car, comes back and attempts to drive by. This is one ballsy ass shooter. Ran into the wrong one though. Suddenly, the active shooter drove by in a car, opening fire on Lieberman and the victim, who Lieberman shielded with his body. Oh my god. My man. You know, if this happens in a combat zone, you get a Medal of Honor, right? You know that? Do you know that, soldier? Holy fuck. Lieberman uncorked. I've never heard that word be used before. Lieberman uncorked his firearm, didn't even sound right, and shot back at the assailant, which prompted him to get back in the vehicle and drive away from the scene. He then returned to treating the victim, helping them remain conscious until the Fayetteville police eventually arrived. On the scene, local authorities provided Lieberman with medical supplies to help stabilize the victim. Yo, that's fantastic. And treat their wounds as they waited for an ambulance. Colonel Jason Scherger, commander of the 1st Brigade Combat Team, presented the medal to Lieberman during the award ceremony and praised Lieberman's actions as both selfless and emblematic of the team's identity. That's some wild shit. That's one badass medic, bro. They should put this dude and this story as like a recruitment ad. Badass on the field of battle and off the field of battle. Boom, you're welcome. I just made your ad for you. But run it. Run it. Lieberman wielded his own acts of heroism as a lesson for younger service members. I always tell my junior medics to never lose their passion for the craft of medicine. He said that no matter where they are, no matter what they're doing, they can always be there for someone on their worst day. Round of applause all around for this stellar dude. Holy shit. That's... I bet you the people of North Carolina feel so much safer. They're just like, damn, man, if the police doesn't get him, a Fort Bragg soldier will. That's like an extra layer of protection right there. Man, that you just can't beat. That's fantastic. So, yeah. Let's get off this. I think that's enough of that for today. We've never seen this, bro. I cannot even take that seriously. There's no way that's that man's real head. I refuse to believe it. There's no way. Looking like Martin Lawrence. We'll see, David. It depends. We already covered something on transgender, so you gotta be close to call your brothers in arms by their first name. No. Let me tell you something. Out of the 4 years that I spent in the service, me and all my battle buddies, all of the E4 Mafia, not once, I repeat, not one time did we ever call each other by our first names. Did we know our first names? Yeah, I knew all of their first names. we never called each other by our first names. But every single time I would walk into like battalion or somewhere where there was, or brigade, or somewhere where there was just officers and shit, these motherfuckers would be on a first name basis. And I'm just like, that's so weird to me that y'all do that. Because me and my comrades, we don't do that. It's last name only, period. Because that's what's on your uniform. You don't have your first name there. You don't even have an initial of your first name on your uniform. It's just Falcon. No one called me Edgar. Except for one time. Well, Bishop did one time. But we weren't even in uniform and we weren't even in the military anymore. And he caught me off guard with it. I was like, who are you talking to? Call me that. But my non-military friends call me by my first name. And even to this day, if I call one of my military battle buddies on the phone, it's last name. That's it. Like, even in my phone, I have their last names. I don't even have their first names. Officers, for some reason, they feel compelled to be different. Or stylish. I don't know. That shit's weird to me. It just is. Even when I was a young child, I remember going to Fort Benning with my dad, and no one called him by his first name. It was always, hey, Falcon. Or, in this case, they knew that he was Hispanic, and they obliged, they'd be like, Falcon. But, you know, there's no closeness, there's like no close thing about that whatsoever. It's just last names, man. The closeness is there in spirit. And dude, our medic was pretty awesome. My first deployment. Our medic, our second deployment, was not even a part of our company. I don't think. He's part of a different company. But my first tour, our medic was pretty great. And I used to get on his nerves a lot. Yo, Lasoya, how about that morphine, dog? How about it? Falcon, I'm not gonna tell you again. I'm not giving you motherfucking morphine. Get off me. I was like, if you ever change your mind. He's like, I won't. I was like, okay, I get it. That's fine. What are the names of the soldiers that work at the aid station? Falcon, you're not getting it. I'm sorry. Get the fuck away from me before I go to the commander. Like, I got on his nerves quite a bit, and it wasn't just me that was always asking him for morphine or asking him for drugs. We always did, and we were like, "What's the worst he can say? No? Okay, fine, cool." He said no, but on the off chance that he says yes, woo, we getting high as hell. But he never said yes. Never. He was a professional, unfortunately. But then again, fortunately, because I can't imagine the kind of fiends he would have churned out if he actually would have let us have our way. Not good. And that's his ass on the line too. So let me look through the. Let me see what y'all requested. Oh yeah, happy early Mother's Day, Katai. You got 3. So, hats off to you. Okay. Cops Arrest Animals by J.D. Delay. It's funny. I don't watch... Unless y'all request a JD video, I don't watch much of his full-length videos. I watch a lot of his shorts. He pops up on my feed quite a bit. And the reason he pops up on my feed quite a bit is because, well, I have a love for hearing about pedophiles either getting killed or dying or getting their ass whooped or getting fucked on or something of that nature, and JD always delivers good news. Not always, but for the most part, I enjoy hearing about these people's demise, or bad luck, or misfortune. It makes me smile on the inside, and sometimes his shorts, they brighten my mood. And I mean, just to actually show you how serious I am about that, do y'all want to know what my status is on Discord? And it's been like this for, like, I think 2 years now. I don't know if y'all have ever noticed what my status is on Discord, but let me show you. If it decides to... I didn't want it to pull up here. Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me make this big for you so y'all can see. No. Wrong one. Check this out. Oh no. You'll see it right here. Daydreaming of brutally murdering pedophile. That's been my status on Discord for ages. At least like 2 years now. So that's how strongly your boy feels. Alright, we go back to this. Perfect. Nice. Alright. Well, I'm sorry, John, let me get to this. Army was different. Junior Marine Corps members at company level addressed each other by their first name on Liberty. Really? I guess that's a Marine thing. That was not an Army thing. But that first name thing with Marines in the same platoon or others within the company that we rolled with NCOs, there were extra steps to cover our ass. But I digress. Oh, with like what you called your NCOs and stuff like that. With my dude, and what's funny is, so my first duty station was Italy, and because the installation was so small, everyone, even the people that lived off post, were relatively close. So a lot of the sergeants would end up going to the same bars that we would go to. And every time I would see them in public, in civilian clothes, I called them by their first name. Some of them would laugh, some of them wouldn't even notice. On one occasion, one got mad. He's like, oh hell nah, I'm your sergeant all the time, motherfucker. Nah, we're not doing that. I was like, come on, really? I just bought you a fucking vodka Red Bull. At the very least, I can call you by first name, man. Fuck. But, yeah. What were we doing? I don't know. Oh yeah, JD. Cops arrest animals. The title of this is like so weird because cops arresting animals is already a job description in a separate field of work. It's called animal control. This isn't about the squirrel, is it? Because we covered that. Arresting animals? Okay. I don't think that animals are covered under the Miranda rights. I don't think animals get Miranda rights. There's animal rights, but that's where PETA comes in. That's a separate conversation of garbage, but cops versus wild animals. Well, okay, never mind. Drago gave me a different title than what it's actually called, but here it is. Shit. I'm sorry. Golly.
This really big deals Good Friday through Sunday. Visit JCPenney for $69 Go Earrings.
Yo, it's crazy that JCPenney still exists. Do y'all shop at JCPenney? I can't remember the last time I did shop at JCPenney. Well, I do remember the last time I shopped at JCPenney, but it was like 8 years ago. I needed khaki pants at the time, and that was the closest place. Anyways, let's not get carried away, because we will.
For just $1, like new handcrafted peach tea and peach lemonade, or any cup of Hardy's ice cold.
Right? Must have been 10 years ago. Man, I haven't gone to. How? That would actually be a good video for Fat Electrician. How is JCPenney still in business? Because JCPenney has been around since I was a child. But I haven't shopped there in years. Since I've been alive, I don't think I've spent any more than $150 at JCPenney. And that place ain't for me, man. Every time I walk into JCPenney, all I see is a whole bunch of women's perfume. It might just be me, but I can't think of anything at JCPenney that I would ever want. Anyways.
Hey everybody, today we're
All right.
going to be taking a look at exactly what happens when police have to deal with animals on the job. Now, this is going to come directly from body cam footage, which I think is great. I really enjoy watching body cam footage.
What do you guys think of a police officer? He shows up to a call and he's doing his police thing, and a dog starts trying to fuck with him. And not in a fun way. Not in a, what's up, man? Never seen you before. What's your name? No, not like that. I'm talking about like, this dog's ready to fight. This cop. What do y'all feel about this cop using his weapon on the dog? Because I've seen videos like that before. I look at it like, if you don't want your neighbor to take violence upon your dog, maybe you as the owner should keep your dog in the backyard on a leash. I'm not saying it's okay, right? But like, the officer has to protect himself, right? And I've been bit by a dog before. That shit hurts, bro. It hurts. It's nothing to fuck with. It sucks. And so, if you need to defend yourself in that moment, I give you the 100% green light to shoot this animal, right? And if we're talking about a raccoon or like a really ballsy squirrel, open fire. But me as a cop, I would have a hard time shooting a dog, but I still would because I love dogs, right? But I have to defend myself. I have to protect myself. I don't know what that dog has. I don't know if it has shots. Like you just don't know. You got to protect yourself the same way you as a civilian would protect yourself from a rabid Rottweiler or a pit bull or a really pissed off big dog that could quite possibly do catastrophic damage to your body. You better shoot that dog. You just have to. I know a lot of people that would be like, no, not the poor dog. I get it, bro. I love animals. I do. I understand the sentiment, but you have to protect yourself. As much as I would be sad, like, oh, poor puppers, man. It's a reality that they have to deal with, right? So.
And when I say animals, I don't mean like evil people that are wild and out of control and doing diabolical, despicable deeds out there on the mean streets. We're talking about like cute, furry woodland little shits, or like scaly stuff, or stuff that squeaks and goes oink. And I found some of the best videos that I could possibly bring to you guys so that you guys can see.
Now, if I see a police officer open fire, like, on a pig, like a farm pig that's, like, just squealing and, like, coming at you, how much can that pig really fuck you up? Don't shoot the pig, bro. That pig's already destined to die anyways. At least let it live a couple of more weeks before it goes to bacon, right? You don't have to shoot the pig. Or, like, if you show up to a disturbance on farm property and there's a rooster with an attitude that's like, don't shoot the rooster. That's too much. That's overkill, right? A rooster's not going to kill you. But
Exactly how this whole thing goes. So buckle up, you guys, because we about to dive right in on this.
I'm a firm believer that some
All right,
animals
so this first
you
lady
shoot.
just got pulled over. The cop is approaching her. Look how happy she is to be pulled over. Like, she is so friendly. She
Maybe it's a good-looking cop. You don't know.
seems super optimistic, like not a care in the world. That's never been me when I've been pulled over. I'm going to let you know right now. I might put on a good game face, but not like this.
Dude, I've been pulled over before, obviously for like traffic infractions and stuff like that. But even when I knew that it was just a traffic infraction, even when I knew that I really wasn't in all that much trouble, that I was just gonna get a ticket, I was still nervous. Always.
Hi, how are we doing today? I'm Officer
Good.
Brandon, Springfield Township Police Department.
Okay, stop it, Josh. How are you?
So the reason I stopped you is you are suspended with a warrant for your arrest.
I am?
So
Instantly not as happy. And how many dogs does she have in that mini
It sounds like 3.
van?
do me a favor, turn off the car, put the keys up on the dash, detain you for that warrant, and because you are suspended actively. Oh,
Don't put your no.
What is that?
That's a raccoon.
Is that a raccoon?
I think so.
Do I spot a raccoon? I
Don't put
love
your-
raccoon.
Don't put your hand in the vehicle, officer. Don't do it. That's like, when it comes to dogs, especially dogs, that vehicle is an extension of their home, and they will protect it in the same fashion. I didn't learn that the hard way. I'm just very perceptive, right? It's just never a good idea to stick your hand inside of a car that has a dog in it. If it's not your dog, bro, don't do it, officer.
Raccoons are the natural criminals and tweakers of nature.
What?
come here.
Hello?
The raccoon has her meth pipe.
The raccoon has her what?
This officer is having a great day. He busted someone that had warrants, and he found a raccoon that had a crack pipe. This officer is gonna have the best stories come Friday night when everyone goes to the bar. This officer's having a day. This is actually more lighthearted than what I was expecting.
As what?
Oh my god.
Her meth pipe.
You gotta be.
He's playing with the meth
Hello?
pipe right now.
Yo, Granny is
This
trying to get
officer
at
is
the meth
crazy.
pipe, bro. Granny wants to go 10-2.
This officer is great. Like, a meth pipe. That's illegal. That's drug paraphernalia. That's. I know if I get caught with a meth pipe, I'm going to jail. And he's just like, dude, you see. A raccoon with a meth pipe, bro. You have to laugh, even if the law's being broken.
She's trying to hit that thing.
No, don't reach for it. That's evidence now.
Oh, I don't want him to have
Well,
that.
that's why I'm gonna do it. Hey, buddy.
Huh?
It's okay.
Okay, you're on our. He'll be here in 2 minutes. I'm right across from my house.
Is that what that
A
is?
few minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is what she's
Dead
smoking meth in.
ass.
Never in my day. Bro, that's funnier than the one video I saw of the cracked out white lady that called the police because she paid for crack and the lady gave her plaster. So she called the cops and was like, I want that bitch arrested. I paid for rock and she gave me plaster. And the cop is like, ma'am, are you serious? Are you for real? And you called me to... Some people just don't think, bro. Oh, no, wait.
Wild.
Okay.
The raccoon playing with her meth pipe.
All
It's a
right.
cute little bastard. This cop is so
Oh, there's
entertaining.
no. He's trying to smoke it.
All right.
Oh, he's got another one.
Thanks.
There's no way.
The officer's not gonna be able to make this arrest, bro, because he's gonna pass the fuck out from laughing. The most ridiculous traffic stop ever.
Raccoon has another one, and he's holding it up to his mouth. He's definitely seen some stuff, man. This raccoon might have got raccoon PTSD.
All right. Enough fun and games.
Here.
You
Oh,
Yeah, he's on his way here.
keep an eye. She was trying to take the meth pipe out of the car. Just keep an eye on her real quick.
Yeah, you got to keep
This officer is gonna get back to the precinct, and he's gonna go to his commanding officer, and he's gonna be like, "Hey, the footage, the body cam footage, can I get a copy of that? Can I keep that for just my own personal entertainment and record?" And I would try.
an eye on Granny, man. Granny's on some sketchy stuff.
Granny's not gonna run though. Even if she is on meth at the moment, or heroin, or whatever, she's too old, man. She ain't going nowhere. Notice how the cops didn't even put her in handcuffs. What could she do? Nothing.
Granny might be a little bit shady, you know what I'm saying? Nothing against the Elderly Tweaker Society, but I don't trust him. Y'all trust him? Nah.
No, he's so sweet.
That old lady was not gonna do anything. At all. I wouldn't have handcuffed her either. What's the point? There is none. Oh man, just a little old lady trying to do some meth, man. What has the world come to when a little old lady can't do her meth? We're going to hell in a handbasket, you know? Yeah, that raccoon was probably doing that regularly. And the lady probably has rabies. No, she seemed pretty compliant for someone, and pretty normal for someone to have rabies. I've seen people have rabies before. They're not as chill as that, Grandma. So, Oh, would you look at that? We have a pig. I mentioned the pig earlier. Don't shoot the pig.
Welcome to the East Side.
What do we have here if not some cops trying to catch them a pig? I want to.
Oh my god. The irony is not lost on me, believe you me. Cops trying to catch a pig. Come on. It writes itself, ladies and gentlemen. The jokes write themselves.
To tell you guys, in preparation for this video, I've watched probably 50 or 60 different videos of cops chasing pigs. I couldn't stop, bro. Once I started, it became like a new addiction.
Because the irony. Yo, Roth, what's good? The irony. Cops chasing pigs. We all know what people like to call cops sometimes, right? Obviously. Duh. That would be a good YouTube name for a police officer that does YouTube content. Bacon operator. Because, you know, donut operator, because cops, donuts, bacon operator. That's fantastic. That's great. Now I'm mad that I was never a police officer, because now I can't use that name.
Cops chasing pigs is one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I think you guys will agree with me.
17, the pig is being non-compliant.
The pig is being non-compliant. What?
I can't. Dude, did you really hit the walk? Did you really radio that? If you actually radioed that over actual police radio waves, I'm done. I'm done. If that was an actual radio call, the pig is non-compliant. Nothing is real. We are living in a simulation. That's facts.
Run, Forrest, run! bro. Yeah, that thing's too much.
Bro, and it's raining and the streets are wet. And oh my god, look at this other officer. In a middle linebacker position. Look at him. Regular old Brian Urlacher right there. Just ready to catch the bacon.
Much for you.
Oh, nope, he juked.
There we
Oh,
go.
oh, he made it right. He juked him again. Hit him with
How
the
many
spin move.
cops does it take to wrangle a pig, bro?
The whole
How many
department.
cops?
The whole department.
Oh, damn. You can hear that cop panting. That pig isn't even phased yet.
No.
No,
Oh.
come here. No.
Stuck. Oh! Get off me! This is non-consensual!
It is, dude.
Damn, they got
Look at the brutality that they're putting upon Rosie O'Donnell right now, bro. That's insane. Good lord. Someone called 911. Oh goddamn.
him. Hey,
Yeah.
bro, you want to lose?
Dude, he's he's resisting. He's resisting. Oh, dude, they're not even gonna hit you with extra charges, good sir. They're gonna hit you with extra grease. That's your punishment.
Loosen that thing on his neck a little bit, bro. I'm gonna call PETA, bitch. Oh yeah, that's a
Dude,
healthy squeal.
turkeys.
Enlisted is the free brand new online World War II shooter. Command us.
Dude, that's great. That's absolutely phenomenal. I didn't think that I needed to see police officers chasing pigs until now. But JD's right. That is addicting. That's... Oh, goddamn.
Happened in the great state of Florida, which
I want to see a video of a pissed off goose or a mama duck chasing a police officer, because we've always seen these videos of like these ducks and these geese. They just be chasing Stacy through the park, bro, and she's fucking screaming her head off. But I would love to see one of these animals chase a police officer, and the officer's just like, yep, nope, puts gun away, puts taser away, and fucking just gone. I think I'd die of laughter. That's...
y'all know is one of my favorite states of all time. I lived there for 10
Florida?
years. I'm going to tell you right now, these Florida cops is wild. This is
They
straight
are.
up off his body cam.
Dude, the people are different, and so is the law enforcement. It's like nothing I've ever seen before.
Look at all this tattoo work this dude has. I don't know how it is where you's at, but in Florida, a whole lot of these cops be rocking full sleeves and all of that.
Yeah.
Not so much like hand tattoos or like neck tattoos or head tattoos, but like a lot of these cops be running
Full
around
sleeves.
all inked out, bro. What was that? Why is there, bro? So I like right off.
The police officer gets out of the car and immediately goes, quack, quack, quack. Bro, this isn't real life.
I noticed that there is like a rooster, some hens.
You know, I bet you there's people around the world that see videos of Florida and they think that it's fake. They think that it's just AI. They think that Florida's just like not a real place, or is just like us Americans just making up stories or something. No, it's a real place, I'm telling you. Like, remember that one guy that was like straight up convinced that Australia wasn't real, that it didn't exist at all in the slightest? And you had Australians talking about like, bro, I'm right here. Fuck do you mean? I'm pretty sure there's some people that they're just like, yeah, Florida's not a real place, bro. That's AI. There's no way that actually happens there like that. No, it does. I've seen full-grown men with jean shorts, no shirt, no shoes, wrestle a python and win, wrestle a gator and win, and then bring it in as a fucking trophy. Like, and then the cops are applauding. It's like, this is a real place, bro. It's wild, but it's real.
a duck or two? Why are they all hanging out, bro? Like, they seem like they shouldn't all be like on the same squad. They should be like rival gangs or something.
Chicken. Get your up to date. What is?
You got a problem?
Look at the turkey.
You got a problem?
That turkey is straight flexing nuts on that.
I run these streets, bro. I'm the one that gives tickets around here. Who the fuck are you? That's what the turkey's saying. You must have not got the memo, bro. I'm the fucking sheriff.
Dude, bro. That's that turkey's hood.
Go ahead,
You
step
can tell.
up.
That
turkey is him.
turkey is the shot caller
Yeah.
of those birds, and it does not like this cop running up on its turf.
Huh?
You want it? You want it? Nah, bro, you gotta get the fuck out of here. You didn't check in. You know how, like, gangsters and, like, fucking street boys, they always say that shit? Like, the gangs? Nah, bro, you gotta check in. You gotta check in with me. Who the fuck is you? Right? That's what's going on here.
You know where you're at, cop?
Mm-hmm.
You know whose block this is?
Yeah. This is cock block, motherfucker. Sorry. I had to. That was too easy.
Oh man.
Bro, he jumped.
Yeah. Oh, come on. Quack. Get back up.
Bro, turkeys don't say quack. It's literally gobbling at you. What are you quacking for?
Dude, at this point, I'm just like, ma'am, have a good day. I'm leaving. That's it. I don't have time for this, man. And I really do think that his superior would be okay with just letting this traffic stop go, man. What is it? 25 speed limit? Maybe she was going 35, quite possibly 40. Lady, slow the fuck down. I'm out. I don't have time for this, man. The academy didn't train me for this. You know what I'm saying? Like, people, sure. This,
For, homie?
Back up.
Oh, he gonna pull some like Karate Kid crane kick?
that turkey definitely voted to defund the police. I know it. It's a Democrat.
On a turkey? Look at that form, bro. That's not good form. That's not how you kick.
Back up.
Uh-oh. The others are mobilizing. And this officer doesn't realize it.
Somebody better come get that. Quack.
Bro, why does he keep calling it a chicken? Look at that limp-legged kick, dog. And that is not a chicken. That is clearly a turkey, sir.
You know, something tells me that this officer could actually deliver a very powerful kick to the chest, straight Leonidas style, when he fucking kills the messenger. But he really is trying so hard not to get canceled by PETA, right? It's not a crazy threat, but like at the very same time, I know I'm not going to die in this situation, but I don't have time for it. I'm leaving. Ma'am, have a nice day. That's...
Know your animals. Oh. Bro,
Back up. Here, here's your stuff back.
that thing is not playing with him at all whatsoever.
Back up. Back up. Back up. I'll be right back, ma'am. Give me a second.
Bro, he had to run off his whole traffic stop.
Yeah.
Because this turkey is just flexing down on this cop.
This is what is this? This is there's a law being broken here. It's I think it's obstruction of justice. It's just a traffic stop, but that's what this is. You're hindering a police officer from doing his job. You're obstructing justice at the moment, good sir.
This cop does not know what to do. And he doesn't know the difference between a turkey and a chicken or a duck. This is wild.
Except for I'm getting attacked by.
There are chickens in the mix though. Maybe that's what he's doing. There's a rooster right there. There's a couple chickens in the back, but this right here is indeed a turkey.
Chicken right now.
It's not a chicken.
Back up. Back up.
Look, I have chickens. We have chickens out here at Casa de Ley because I like me some eggs, bro. I like me lots of protein. So we got a bunch of chickens, bro. It is very obvious the difference between a turkey, a chicken, and a duck. Y'all, I mean, you remember those little things we used to play with as kids, and it would be...
How prevalent are chickens and ducks in Florida though? Right? Because like being from Georgia, I mean it's pretty common. But maybe Florida people don't see this as much. Maybe this cop is not from this area, right? And he just like maybe he was a city boy his whole life. And he just don't fucking. But then again, how are you a cop in Florida and you're not in tune with most animals? Because like it's Florida.
Be like, the duck says quack. The turkey says, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is this dude going through?
Back up!
Oh, yeah. I think I'm scared of you, dog.
It's not.
I can't believe this is happening.
I can't.
If I
Yeah.
was that chick, I'd be driving away. All right, you guys, this is another Florida incident.
This right here is where it starts to get real.
And this one is with a gator. And what I see so far, is that a damn ratchet strap? Is this cop trying to wrangle a gator with a damn ratchet strap? That's the wildest thing I've seen all day, bro. Peep this out.
Oh no.
Yep. Oh, it went in.
Florida will be able to provide Grand Theft Auto, the video game, with content for the next millennia. For real.
In his mouth.
They really should just make a Grand Theft Auto game just based in Florida. Because like all the places that they do, they're more along the lines of like San Andreas, and I don't know if those places are real. They probably are, but Vice City, I don't think Vice City was a real place, right? But they might as well just make a Grand Theft Auto game centered around Florida with real places and let AI take care of the rest.
That's all, man. Come on, man. Angle your damn body cam where we can see the damn alligator. There you go. Get out of the way, you sloppy bastard. I'm trying to see stuff.
You have a number for public works.
Can you get him? Nope. Bro, this dude is not a cowboy. This dude is... That's a damn shame. A Florida boy can't even lasso a gator. That's like the first thing you learn when you get to Florida is how to lasso a gator with a ratchet strap. Nope. What is that, like attempt number 6? Bro.
Yeah, do they teach you this? Do they teach you this in the academy when you become a police officer in Florida? Because if they don't teach you to do this, this would be one of those situations as a police officer where I would have to politely decline with my superior. Like, hey, you need to respond to this call and deal with this gator. Sir, I don't know how to do that. I'm not qualified to do that. I've never done that at all. So therefore, to quite possibly minimize a death in the department, I'm going to have to politely decline. But I hope they get trained for this stuff.
305 270.
Because I always assumed animal control was in charge of this.
No.
1791. 305 270
That's your
1791.
academy. They teach you this when you're in the academy to become a cop? How many cops does it take to get a gator?
And what is the helicopter for? Or is that helicopter just there by happenstance? It'd be crazy if y'all caught a helicopter just for a fucking gator. A lot of money.
Negative. None are in service.
Oh, he got it.
Got it.
There you go. Now what are you going to do? You just leashed a gator. That thing comes running back at you. You're cooked, dog. You're cooked. Oh, look at it wiggle. Damn. Okay, I'm going to give this dude a little bit of props now. That was mildly lit. So, yo,
If that gator would have turned around and come at him, ooh, that would have been scary. That's when you literally let go of that fucking rope and you take off. But I don't really think I would have put myself in that situation, man. But good on that cop. I guess they teach them. They do. But Something about doing something of that magnitude without the proper training or teaching, I would not feel comfortable. At the very least, give me like a full day class, and maybe I might feel comfortable enough to do that. And hopefully, the department would pay for any and all medical bills if this gator turns around and bites my fucking arm off. I hope you're ready to give me a prosthetic, police department, right? You know what I'm saying? Because, like, dude, dealing with people is one thing. That's fine. Bullets and shit like that, but this shit's not in the job description. Just isn't. Luckily for me, when I was in the service, there wasn't really many animals that I had to worry about when I was deployed. There was a lot of dogs in the country, but these dogs were mainly just strays, and the local population treated dogs like shit anyway, so naturally, dogs were just afraid of humans. And they naturally would stay away from us. They would see us and fucking cower and just run away. Unless they were just like a puppy, which we did find a puppy one time, and our medic tried to house the puppy in the tents. And there was a big dispute over that. But okay. All right. Mr. Neil deGrasse Tyson. I saw this video pop up on my feed a day or two ago, and when I read the title, I was like, that's stupid. It's stupid. I thought it was stupid when Obama did it. I think it's stupid now. Congress urged to reject Trump's destructive NASA plan. I don't even know the particulars yet, but I strongly urge to not do anything that would negatively impact NASA. Because, I'm sorry, I feel like we need it. I feel like we need to, and consistently for the rest of time, need to continue to explore. Otherwise, bro, what the fuck is the point of any of this? Seriously. What, just like go stagnant and just spin our wheels and just like not look for anything, not explore, not search, not... That's what they taught us as children, right? Always explore, always ask questions, always wonder, always ask why, right? And now here we are, and it's just like, nah, fuck all that. We'll see.
Budget cuts to science agencies.
I don't agree with that at all. Not even in the slightest. Maybe it's because they think that Elon Musk will be able to pick up the slack, right? Like,
What's up with that? Consider a couple of things. We're trying to save money. Who doesn't want to save money? Right. The Department of Government Efficiency is attempting that, run by the richest person in the world, who, as of today or last week, is valued at $330 billion.
Elon. Or maybe I'm looking at this from the wrong angle. Maybe it's not budget cuts for NASA so that Elon can pick up the slack, or maybe they think he can. I think it's budget cuts to NASA so that Elon Musk and SpaceX can further prosper. Get rid of these people so that this motherfucker can have a monopoly on space exploration, which I don't think should be a thing. Let's see. I think everyone should do space exploration. No matter who you are, no matter what agency, no matter what government, no matter what country. Explore. Shouldn't just be for one person, one place, one building, one group of people. We'll see.
$1 billion. I want you to understand how much money that is. So, if you take $330 billion and represent it by $100 bills, if you lay them end to end, how far will it go? It will go around the earth 3 times. Then, with what's left over, you can sort of tape them together as a kind of a ribbon and ascend into the sky and into space and reach the moon. By then, you would have used up all the $100 bills that comprise $330 billion. There's one bit of information. Another bit of information. If you fired all 3 million government employees, put them out of work, how much would you save? You can do the numbers on this. You would save 4.3% of the federal budget. That's all. So,
And it's not a lot, because what comprises most of our budget? Y'all know? I'm sure y'all know. Military. Upwards of 800 billion. That eats a big chunk.
So the government is spending money on something else that represents the bulk of what the federal budget is.
Defense.
Ask a bigger question. If you go and
At least I think it's defense.
give these trims to all of these agencies. By the way, chainsaws are not good at trims. They're like for cutting down the middle. But anyhow, you give like a haircut. You cut one part of an agency here, you trim it there, nip tuck there, and then you say, we saved millions of dollars. So it sounds like a lot of money, but it's not. So to cherry pick the bits and pieces of one agency and another on the grounds that that's somehow gonna transform how the government operates, I think is a little short-sighted. A lot short-sighted. NASA, their plans to cut half of its science budget, including the removal of the office of the chief scientist. The chief scientist is the person who offers a vision for which way the science directorate is going to go. There's astrophysics, there's planetary science, you have earth science, there's heliophysics, understanding the sun and space weather. When the sun has an explosion, you kind of want to know about that.
Yeah.
High energy streams of particles head towards Earth and could take out our satellites.
Dude, and I keep saying it, but does no one realize that there's an asteroid heading towards us at this very moment? And that around the year 2027, no, sometime in the 2030s, it's going to make a pass by Earth, and it'll be the closest celestial object that has ever passed by the planet. And that if it hits a certain parameter within a certain distance between the Earth and space, it'll miss the Earth on the first pass, but if it hits this certain trajectory within this certain keyhole of an area of distance, which ranges upwards to, I think, like 300,000, 600,000 miles, if it hits within that range, it will get launched into a specific trajectory that 7 years later, it will impact the planet. I feel like NASA would be important for that. Right? I feel. Oh, and the chance of this asteroid actually hitting the right spot to get launched to where 7 years later it'll hit us, 4 something percent. 4 something percent. That's, by the way, this asteroid, from what they said, the size of the Rose Bowl. If y'all know that, y'all know college football. It's that big. I just feel like NASA could, and I don't know what they can do to stop this shit if it actually were to hit a trajectory to where it could hit us in the future. I don't know what can be done, but I kind of want them there just in case they can do something. What, are you going to leave it up to the military to deal with that? I feel like all of this stuff is important.
Upon which so much of our modern civilization depends, There's also planetary exploration, and then there's the search for life. All of that is in the science mission directorate. So you want to cut that to save money? How much money is that? How much is the total NASA budget compared to your tax dollar? It is less than 0.4% of your tax dollar. If I cut off 0.4% from the width of this dollar, it doesn't even get into the paint. And you want to trim NASA to save federal expenditures? Really? Is that what's happening there? Now, I'm a scientist. Maybe I'm biased. Maybe. Sure. I'll give you that. However,
I'm not a scientist, but I am passionate about the field because my favorite subject in elementary school, middle school, high school. Matter of fact, science, biology, all that stuff, all of these things that fall under the umbrella of science, geology, that was my best subject in school. I thrived at it. I always had A's in these classes. Math, on the other hand, was a bit difficult for me. But science was one of my favorite subjects. I was good at it. And it interested me. And I used to spend hours at night when I was like 9, 10, 11 years old out in the front yard with my mom at 1 o'clock in the morning with a fucking telescope looking at the moon, looking at planets and shit like that. She would teach me about this stuff. So I'm not a scientist, but I'm passionate about this stuff, and I feel like it's important. I feel like it was important 100 years ago, and I feel like it's important now, and I feel like it'll still be important tomorrow. So to cut it any less than what it already is, I'm pretty sure there's other things less important than this that you could have cut in lieu of this.
Let's go back in time. I have a document here. Science, the Endless Frontier. Report to the President on a program for post-war scientific research by Vannevar Bush, Director of the Office of Science Research and Development, a brand new agency of the government that saw what role science played in our health, our wealth, and our security. And this document, dated from the late 1940s, established the science agenda of the United States. This was the original thinking that led to the formation of the National Science Foundation. 10 years later, Russia, Soviet Union, launches Sputnik. Within 12 months, we create NASA in response to that. Science is not just something scientists do in the back lab.
I think that the way people think of NASA today and the way people think of science is they only think of our race to the moon. That's it. And everybody was super pumped, weren't they? Back in the day, I wasn't alive, but everybody was super pumped when JFK made that promise of landing on the moon. There was a common goal. There was a competition. There was a rivalry between us and the Russians. There was a reason. There was a purpose. We land on the moon. And what have we actually done since then, aside from discovering more planets and black holes and yada yada and stuff like that? I think we've done a lot, but to some people, science and NASA is not at the height that it used to be. So in their eyes, they're just like, well, we're not trying. We already went to the moon. We're not really competing to be first. We're not really competing for pride or even ego at this point. We're not really doing anything. That's what the common person thinks, and that's what government thinks, and that's just not the case. And it's just not true. There's always brand new discoveries every day, right? And so that's how people look at it. That's not how I look at it, but people think like, oh, we're no longer at the height of it anymore, let's cut it. And that couldn't be further from the truth. Just because we're not vying for first place against a rival country or against someone on the world stage, it doesn't mean that the work is any less important. So, like, I don't know where the whole thought process of cutting funding for this lies, but
science is foundational to our health, our wealth, our security. No, you don't see it every day because it happens in life.
But a lot of people think that when it comes to science, again, all they think about is the space shuttles. And to the average person, they're just like, oh, well, you know, we could live without sending a rocket to an asteroid or without sending a rocket to Jupiter and stuff like that. But that's not all that science encompasses. Science isn't just about going to another planet. Science isn't just about exploring the cosmos. It's not just about exploring the universe. It's about science can be used to fix real world problems that we have right now. And we have used science to fix real world problems that we have right now. And medical science is science nonetheless. And that also plays a big part into, you know, it's all encompassing. And you start cutting things, you're going to be left with bare bones, minimum nothing, man. And maybe the government feels that we can afford to cut funding for NASA because, I mean, even if we cut, maybe their logic is that even if we cut funding for NASA, we would still be ahead of a whole bunch of other countries in this regard. That doesn't matter. I don't care. That doesn't mean anything to me. Like, that's not a reason to go backwards. That's not a reason to slow down. That's not a reason to say, you know, at least not in my opinion.
Labs with nameless scientists who publish papers that only other fellow scientists recognize and can understand. But over the years, those discoveries work their way, as they always do, into our lives. We are in the centennial decade of the 1920s of the development and discoveries of quantum physics. If you were around back then, what would you be saying? Oh, we don't need this. These are just atoms. No, who cares about atoms? I just care about solid things that I can see and recognize and understand. Do you realize there is no creation, storage, or retrieval of information without an exploitation of the quantum? There is no IT revolution without the quantum. The foundation.
He kind of just like lost me right there, but
of our information technology culture. These are scientists working on a frontier in the roaring 20s when no one else is caring about it, but you had people who did. And you know where a lot of that research happens? By scientists in research universities, not in the R&D labs of corporations, because they have to make a buck at the end of the day. That R&D has.
So there's no quality in their research and development, or even in their statistics or numbers, or like there's no quality there, because at the end of the day, if it's just about money, then you're going to take shortcuts or forgo the hard work that it takes to actually, you know what I'm saying?
To have a sight line that reaches to a bottom line, to an ROI, a return on that investment. Whereas scientists working for the pure joy of discovery on the frontier of their fields, there's no expectation that their discovery in that moment is going to make money for anybody.
They do it. It's like the difference between the NFL and college football, right? The NFL, you have all these athletes that are playing for a paycheck. So, you know, and they're going to get paid regardless. So maybe the drive isn't there, the love isn't there, the passion isn't there, the will to be better or to discover new talents or to do new things is not there, as opposed to a college kid that really wants to get to the show, really wants to get to the big time. He's putting in, and he doesn't even get paid. He's playing for free. Well, he's playing for an education, but compared to a $27 million contract, you're playing for fucking free, right? So there's more passion there. There's more love. There's more energy. There's just more, man. Really, people that do it strictly for the love of it and to continue to make it better or get better or discover new things. You know what I'm saying? So when you toss money into it, integrity gets lost, quality gets lost, work ethic gets lost, right? It's just that's how money goes. So
that happens later. These are the foundations of what would become civilization. And they understood that coming out of the Second World War. And to the extent that we do not understand that today, fine. That's what you want. Cut the NASA budget, You do that, we recede, not just for there, for
going
NOAA,
backwards.
National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, for the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency. 3 organizations, NASA, NOAA, and the EPA,
They rely on science.
all signed into existence by Republican presidents, I might add. NASA by Dwight Eisenhower in 1958, NOAA and the Environmental Protection Agency in 1970. Signed into existence by President Richard Nixon. Yeah, we could just get rid of it all,
Nixon.
I suppose, and you'd save a little bit of money. At what cost? We would cede leadership in these domains to other countries who, based on my read, care more about science than we currently do. That should worry any scientist, of course, but it should especially worry the public, because innovations in science and technology are the engines of tomorrow's economy.
Yeah.
One thing that this country, the United States of America, has been really good at my entire lifetime is leading the world in science.
Yeah.
NASA's the envy of the world. One of the
Since I've been alive as well, we've pretty much led the way in my opinion as well. Yeah.
shining jewels in the crown of what it is to be American.
And now it almost seems like the government or just the American people, they don't see too much prestige in NASA anymore, I guess. And it's just like, I do, but I mean, hey, what can I do?
discoveries of NASA. And to go into that less than 0.4% cut money on the grounds that that's going to make some difference to this country, to our budget woes, I don't understand that.
I don't
2
either.
generations from now, when we are trailing in the world on every important scientific advance that became foundational.
Well, then, when that happens, Neil, America will do exactly what they did in the 60s with the space program. Remember how at the time, not a nan person in the fucking world cared about space travel until the Russians started doing it. And then guess what? America was like, yeah, nah, you're not about to make us look bad. So, yeah, we may regress. We may go backwards. We may lose first place. But eventually there's going to come a time where the government is going to see an opportunity for them to look good, and they will refund NASA. Just like the 60s, right? No one cared. No one was saying anything except for the scientists. And then Russia did it, and America was like, yep, we got to go, right? So in the future, we may lose our throne, but some country will do something, or some country will invent something, or some country will trailblaze something, and America's going to be like, yeah, we got to get back on this stage and play, because we're not about to let them have first place, because, you know, America and its ego, right? Which sometimes works to our detriment, sometimes it works in our favor. But that's just what's gonna happen. We've seen that time and time again, where the government makes a decision that's bad, and then a couple years later they renege on that decision and they fix it, right? And they're just like, oh, actually, never mind. So maybe that happens here. Only a matter of time. Once America sees another country outdoing them in a certain regard, which I can't even imagine why Trump would do this, because from what I've seen, he's all about us looking good. He's all about us being first. He's all about us winning. He's all about us being the man, right? And all that stuff, and portraying a certain bravado. Yet you are downsizing one of our greatest strengths, aside from military, because we put an ungodly amount of money into military. That's like...
To the future health, wealth, and securities of other countries, we will look around and say, oh my gosh, the boat left without us. We were complacent. We reduced our investments when we should have been increasing them, just as Vannevar Bush described in this document from what is now 80 years ago. They understood, so that we Americans can reap the benefits of the health, the wealth, and the security that fundamental investments in science delivers. Without that, the rest of the world will pass us by, and we'll spend an entire generation trying to catch up when it turns around and bites us in the ass, when we realize that We are trailing the world instead of leading it in every way that has mattered.
Well, I look at it from... Maybe they look at it from this perspective. Maybe... Because, you know... Look at the state of the world. Doesn't it always seem like we're teetering on the edge of World War III, right? And I hate to allude to conversations of World War III, because if that happens, it's all over. But doesn't it always seem like the world is teetering on just like destruction, right? And I guess to the people in government, maybe their thought process is, dude, the world is so fucking crazy at the moment that it could quite possibly end tomorrow. We don't have the time to worry about space. Maybe that's the sentiment. But at the same time, isn't the world always on the verge of ending? If we did that for every time the world was on the verge of ending, we'd always be cutting shit. We'd always be letting shit fall to the wayside, right? And that's not a good way to be. So maybe that's their logic. Like, the world is too crazy at the moment for us to spend any more money on that. I don't know, but how much is enough money for defense? I mean, I love how much safety and security we have here, but is there not a single shred of the defense budget that can also be minimized, right? It would be one thing if you cut the NASA budget, but you also cut parts of other budgets that actually matter, like defense, right? Not saying should or that it's a good idea, you know, you're creating security for something else, but you know what I'm saying? It'd be one thing if like everything was taking a cut, but it's just specific things, and some of these specific things actually matter. So it's just like, I think it's stupid. I don't think it's a good idea. But, and I'm not a scientist, but maybe I'm also biased because I do enjoy this stuff, man. The amount of videos, documentaries that I've watched by scientists, physicists, astrophysicists, fucking theoretical physicists. I love the theoretical physicists. I love to hear them explain shit and talk about shit and educate. It's, matter of fact, thinking back on it, that's what I should have gone to fucking college for. Instead, I went for criminal justice. But I'm not good at math, man. And these physicists, geniuses with numbers. So, like, it's just, you know, but it doesn't take away my passion for it or how I view it and how I see it and how I interpret it. So, ugh. I feel great. All right, let's see. Oh god damn. The hunger just hit. I'm so glad y'all can't hear my stomach. That sounded wild. All right, so what are we gonna do here? Are we gonna do some unsubscribe or are we gonna do some fat electrician? I think we're gonna do some unsubscribe because we just did a request by you, David. So we'll just do broths. But y'all are gonna have to give me like a minute or two. I gotta go to the bathroom and then I'm gonna run out and smoke real fast. So some unsubscribed podcasts. Let's your kids are in danger. SVU detective exposes Buffalo school system. Hence why it's on the Unsubscribed podcast. Buffalo. Isn't that where Angry Cops is from? Does Angry Cops have children? We're not going to finish this. I feel like we already got through most of it. We're going to move on to the next one. I got to use the bathroom, but let me go ahead and pull this up. I don't even know if Angry Cop... Does Angry Cops have kids? I'm just curious. I don't think he does. He's never said it. Never alluded to it. I do think he's married though, right? I don't know. Maybe y'all know. Damn, an SVU. That's a Special Victims Unit, if I'm not mistaken. All right. This was the full version. We're just gonna watch the chopped up version. Go ahead, pull this up. Oh, come on. Okay. Now let me go here. God, dude. Old as fuck. Yeah, here. Can be loud. Sorry. Thought I turned it down. Okay. I'll be right back. Okay. Well, dude. Okay. Oh. That was wild. Okay. Jesus. Oh. Okay. Sorry. We're gonna get going. All right. Let's see just how much this video will piss me off. It's probably about child predators, so sometimes hard for it's hard for me to control my emotions when it comes to these people. Okay. Roth, you're still here, right? I think we're doing yours.
If you can't tell by the thumbnail, this episode, it's not even an episode. It is something Rich, you know him as Angry Cops, brought to light. And it is something that even now I'm at a loss of words to how to even explain it. I will say viewer discretion is advised, and it does have to deal with kids. I truly believe everyone should see this message, and I know this community. We know this community, and we know you guys will help make this right and make a difference. And really quick, so much love for Rich and what he is doing and the purpose of this. All the AdSense and money that this video generates is going to be donated to the Buffalo, New York Family Justice Center. And the other reason it is running is because in order to reach as many people as possible,
handle every part of your build from one platform with Wix Studio.
Oh, I have a feeling I'm going to be mad.
this is how you have to do it. Otherwise, it gets restricted. And we didn't want that for this message. Angry Cops, Rich, we will support you till the end of times with this. And I know all of you will do the same. We here, you all, we defend those who might need a little help or who don't have a voice. So again, viewer discretion is advised.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Unsubscribed Podcast. Rich has something important to say, and we would like for you all to hear it.
You ready to get sued?
Yeah.
No?
Let's go.
All right. So this is this is real, and this can affect my life, but it's at the moment where it's one of those things where you got to do the right thing or not. And I didn't want to ruin the actual podcast with it. I wanted to wait till later on just in case. So here's the deal. I've been in SVU in the Buffalo Police Department for 2 years, and there was a space in between it where I left SVU, the Special Victims Unit, and I went to two other, I got promoted to lieutenant and then went to the FBI and assisted with that, and I'm back in SVU. But during those 2 years, even before then, there has been an issue where the Buffalo school system, specifically their legal representatives in the city, like the city attorneys that specifically work for Buffalo Public Schools, right? So I'm not sure if that's the city of Buffalo buying these attorneys and having them protect them, or if it's like the schools, like lawyers for the schools as their own thing. But either way, long story short, the Buffalo school system has been intentionally not reporting the assaults of students student, and then has also used the Buffalo Police Department's school resource officers to write reports and then had their influence over those officers to then close the reports. And that's a story I'll get into.
Right. So soft pitch, why are they doing that?
I don't know. My best estimate is that they're afraid or don't want the numbers to show that there are these police investigations occurring at their schools or assaults occurring at their schools because it could affect funding or something somehow, which, by the way...
You fucking cowards. Jesus. What kind of people are funding you to where the funding would cease if it came to light that there was child-on-child sexual assault happening? To me, that seems like a clear case of a disciplinarian needs to be a disciplinarian and do discipline shit and correct it within the school. But that's not happening. And if what Angry Cop says to be true, what kind of fucking people are funding you to where they must want this to continue? Right? I can't imagine any normal person letting this continue. Unless there was something to be benefited or something to be gained.
Is fucking stupid. If a crime happens at a school, it doesn't mean that funding is then stopped or prevented from going to that school.
That doesn't matter. That's such a stupid excuse. Like, what kind of boosters do you have? Like, truly, what is that? That's not real. That doesn't happen.
School. Oftentimes, if there's a problem, people will pour money into that problem to fix it. And I'm going to give you an example. This is a real example. There's a school that's attached to the Buffalo Science Museum.
Like, dude, we had fights in high school, and the school didn't stop receiving money because there was fights. One time, there was a fight between two football players, my freshman year, two middle linebackers. One was offensive, one was defensive, and I almost got caught in the middle of it. I almost got fucked up. Luckily, I didn't. They fucked each other up, though. And because one was 18... he actually got arrested. Police came to school. He got arrested. The other dude got sent home, and they were both out of school suspension for like 2 weeks, and they couldn't play. And I would assume that sexual assault would be the same way. Hey, teacher, he touched me this way, or she touched me this way. The teachers then take these little bastards to the principal's office, the disciplinarian. We call parents. We have a conversation. People get suspended. Punishments are issued, prices are paid, and we all continue our lives, right? Because shit's going to happen at school. Schools are schools. But to not report it, let it continue, and be afraid to report it because of fear of funding getting removed, that's so stupid of an idea, it's absurd.
That school that's attached to the Buffalo Science Museum has doors that can go from the Science Museum into the school. Those doors are not locked. Individuals can get into them, right? Stranger danger, right? And that happened. So a stranger went into the school. It's a grade school. It's a very low school. And this person grabbed a male and a female child.
It's a very low school?
Low grade. Yeah. Low grade, like preschool, kindergarten, second, third, fourth grade, shit. Like, it's an elementary school.
Low grade school.
So like first through fifth.
Yeah. So kids under.
I don't know how they do it in Buffalo, but like down south where I'm from, we just say elementary school. From it's pre-K, kindergarten, elementary school, which is first, second, third, fourth, fifth. Middle school, which is 6, 7, 8. High school, which is freshman through senior. I've never heard it called what Angry Cops just called it. Or maybe he just couldn't find a word for it at the time, but...
This person grabbed a male and a female child.
It's a very low school?
Low grade.
Low grade school.
So like first through fifth.
Yeah. So
Okay.
kids under the age of 10.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
So it goes into the school and grabs a young female child and a male child and tries to leave. And I'm gonna parcel this story up in kind of the way that the information came in. At first, the information that came in was that there was one female child that was an attempted abduction. There was no report about the second.
This is a complete lack of security because what if this person just went in there and grabbed 2 kids. You see how easy it was for him to get inside that school? What if he wasn't there to grab kids? What if he was there to shoot kids? Completely different story now, huh? Jesus. But the fucking liberals and the goddamn Democrats will get fucking pissy if we put armed security at schools because they don't want schools to feel like jail. Fucking break, bro. Jesus Christ. So pathetic. This is such pathetic logic. You let guns guard your money, you let guns guard your politicians, but God forbid if guns guard your kids. Oh, the humanity. You fucking kidding me?
Second child, kind of a big deal. The second child, the boy, had pissed himself. And when his parents came, sorry, I'm getting fucked up. When his parents came to pick him up.
Take your time, brother.
Yeah, sorry.
You want ads that drive results. That's why we built Roku Ads Manager. Sign up at ads.roku.com.
UFC 315, fight on ESPNplus.com.
Saved by the ad.
Give me a second.
You good?
You're all right, man.
When his parents came to pick him up, the school did not disclose to the parent that the kid was a part of an attempted abduction. So when parents asked him, why did my kid piss his pants at school? The teachers and the people in charge did not tell them that there was an attempted abduction. The school then deleted the video of the attempted abduction.
That's illegal.
Fuck.
In the district attorney's office, excuse me.
I don't know if that's actually illegal, but it sounds illegal and it should be. Like, you have to disclose this to the parents. No questions asked, period. Like, let's say the FBI was involved and it's an ongoing investigation. You know what they're going to tell the media? Oh, we can't disclose information to you. But you know who they do disclose it to? The parents. This is like a lawyer lying to his client. That's illegal.
And the district attorney's office only got it because somebody within the school had the wherewithal to record it and then give it to them. The district attorney's office has sent subpoenas, so like court order documents from judges that are signed, to the school's legal representatives. And those representatives have intentionally not responded to them. Now, here's the weird thing, which is like, this is the biggest issue right here, is that specific one is the one that sent me over the edge. Obviously, I'm emotional from it. So,
dude, when you work in law enforcement, like angry cops, and as long as angry cops, you can cry, bro. It's fine. The amount of shit that you've seen, especially working for the Special Victims Unit, is probably diabolical. And I don't even, not even for fun, do I even want to put myself in the shoes of someone that has to see stuff like that on a daily or even a semi-daily or even a semi-weekly or even a semi-yearly basis, bro. So it is okay to feel the way you feel and to display the emotions you display. You're a human being. That's nothing to apologize for. There's just so that you hear it from me. It's just proof you're human.
The biggest issue with this entire story, well, one of the issues with this entire story is that when subpoenaed, these legal representatives for the Buffalo School Department are ignoring the subpoenas and not responding to them, but
like, what is the reason? Like, what was even, I don't understand. Guys, why does someone rob a bank? Because they need money, right? Why does why does a pissed off husband kill his cheating wife? Because she cheated, right? For a lot of people, when they commit crimes, there is a fucking reason why they're committing these crimes. Someone stole a car. Motherfucker needed wheels. He needed to get somewhere. Motherfucker robbed a little old lady. He needed the money. There's always a reason for the crime you're committing. I am failing so hard to see any reasoning by doing this. Deleting the video. What does that do? What good does that do for you? How do you stand to gain or benefit? Bro, when people commit crimes, they're gaining something. They're benefiting from something, whether it's from petty theft to wire fraud. You're gaining something, man. You're gaining an advantage. You're like, what is to gain here by deleting that video, lying to the parents, and if I had to get deep, dark, and conspiracal, I don't even think that's a word. If I had to get deep and dark with some conspiracy theories, I would say that you motherfuckers that work at this school, and I'm just theory crafting here, y'all are running y'all are running a child trafficking ring, really, where you let motherfuckers come in and take children, and you say nothing, and y'all get a cut of the money from whoever's taking these children, because that's how it happens. That's how it works. I see nothing to gain. That is the only thing I can see for you to gain. You're making money on the side from letting people take children. Or touch them, or have their way with them, and you look the other way and money goes into your bank account.
but being obstructionists.
Right? And you know what? As much as like I would probably not in real life, I probably wouldn't support the idea of a vigilante, bro, because then everyone tries to do it and then it just becomes into a shit show. But at this point, having a real life Frank Castle would go really, really good right now. That is what the doctor is fucking ordering, man. Seriously. This
and actually giving information to school administrators and school personnel to not talk to the police or assist the police in any way. In fact, to obstruct us. Like, intentionally, do not do these things. Here's how you prevent the police from doing their job. So, and here's where, like...
Why do those loopholes exist? Because it seems to me like law-abiding citizens don't need that law, don't need those loopholes. It's only criminals that use them. So why does that even exist? Is there any way that a law-abiding, good-to-do citizen would fall victim to a loophole like that? My guess is no. Maybe I'm wrong, but why do those loopholes even exist? Maybe I'm missing something. I probably am. I don't know the law intimately, but
this crux is coming in. Why it's kind of a whistleblower thing is there are people that are trying to get this information from the schools, and the main obstructionist are these lawyers who, once again, I said, are ignoring subpoenas and court.
Isn't that in itself illegal, to ignore a subpoena and a court order? That's failure to appear. That's punishable by law. How is this even happening? Again, I don't know the law intimately, but so much about this is just like wrong. And I'm not even a lawyer, but I'm looking at all this shit and it smells like shit.
orders. And the only way that you can overcome that is if somebody from the court system, judge, attorney general's office in New York State, the attorney general of the United States, comes down and says, why are you not responding to these court orders? You're ordered to respond to them and you're not. And in this specific case, you know, like destruction of evidence, you know, which is huge. And then not telling one of the, you know, the kid's parents.
No, if somebody comes forward, you said somebody had the wherewithal to record the surveillance video or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Y'all probably already seen this video, and don't spoil it, but what do y'all think?
Or with that, that's still usable as evidence.
So they
right?
have to, that person, that's a weird thing about New York State. And I'm not a lawyer, and my knowledge is limited in that, but from my understanding, you need to have somebody confirm the authenticity of the recording. So let's say that it's a CCTV of like a corner store. The manager or a worker would have to show up to court and say, that is the video that from my store. When it comes from, and I don't know if this is how it was done, but let's say like a cell phone recorded the CCTV footage,
like the
and then they were like, hey, they deleted the real CCTV footage, and then gave it to the assistant district attorney. You would need somebody to authenticate that, which would
a professional in the field of videography, someone that can, you know, like, what do you call someone that can look at an art piece and tell if it's authentic? That's a name. You know what the fuck I'm talking about. That's.
And this is where the legal process is weird to me. I'm not sure if that means that the individual that sent the CCTV recording from their phone would have to state, I'm so and so, I recorded that with my phone.
I think so, yes, because yeah, unless you wanted your delivery of that evidence to remain anonymous. Maybe they would grant you that luxury. Maybe they wouldn't, depending on the situation. I don't know. There's been people that have gone to court, that have sued, that have remained anonymous, right? Maybe. But I'm assuming that for their file purposes and records, yes, that person would have to annotate that they're the ones submitting that camera footage, if it indeed came from a cell phone or any kind of other device.
I was in the office of such and such school, and this is recording of our CCTV footage. Or if that means that any representative from the school can say, no, what that person recorded is our CCTV footage.
Gotcha. So whoever recorded versus anyone can say yes and verify that.
So I'm not sure, like that's something for like the lawyers to do. I'm not sure how that process goes, but
yeah. School district did that?
Dude, I'm telling you, it's a lot of the schools. When I say that's the worst example that I have, which is obviously a horrible example, I can't tell you the amount of shit that I have to go through in order to go to a school, talk to a principal and say, what did the...
You probably gotta go like leap tall buildings in a single bound and do just a whole bunch of quite possibly paperwork.
Kid tell you? And they'll go, I can't talk to you. I've got to talk to my lawyers. You're like, it's in your job to protect the kids.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many. I'll tell you another one. I had a girl that was, man, I'll get fucked up.
That's fucking wild. Like, especially if you're your own kiddo and then you don't even know. They come home, they're scared, they're confused, they have no idea what just happened, and then no one's telling them.
If you were like the loyalty to the money above the kids.
Yeah,
that's what I said. Like,
I think it's a mix of fear. I think it's the fear of there's a lot of shit there. I don't think it's like dirty money. I think it's a fear of losing your job. It's a fear of the people that are above you that are going to come back and get you. I think it's the fear of stepping out of line.
you gotta, dude. I can understand that argument if the argument was that, I don't know, that you knew of a teacher that was selling grades for money, right? And you didn't want to be a snitch, and you also didn't want any problems. You didn't want to have to go through an investigation. You keep it to yourself. And that, whatever, but like, this is not that situation. And this is not that kind of moment. And this is not that kind of scenario. You have to say something. It doesn't matter if it comes at the detriment of your job. You have to remember that shit happens, man. I can't remember, but did they fire the staff of Columbine High School? I don't think so. It was a tragedy. It happened, and it happened. Things happen. Things will happen. You can't stop things from happening, but what you can do is when it happens, you do something about it. Like, and because you didn't do anything about it, you're just as bad as the motherfucker that did it. So, you thought you were going to be in trouble already? You're in so much more trouble now. When you could have just been like, yeah, that happened. We were going to have to beef up our security. That was a lapse. We're going to get it fixed. And most people would be like, yeah, goddamn right, get it fixed. Thank you. And we would go on to the next day. That.
And then getting, reprimanded.
Braxton, what's good, man? How are you? Hope you're having a good weekend.
My standard.
But like one of the cases that I had is a girl went to she got beat by her dad, who was a blood. He's a piece of shit. She got beat by her dad, and she went to a school counselor and said, my dad beats me. And the school counselor didn't report it. The school counselor's like notes were like, this kid's a liar. She lies a lot about like how cool she was at another school. And you're like, oh, that's normal kid lying shit. What do I give a f about that? So she didn't report it. And then the next incident happened where this girl had a video recording of, I forget if it was either her dad post beating her or if it was during the beating or if it was of her injuries. I think it was of her dad punching her. And she walks into the counselor's office while she's with another girl, plays the video, and the woman's like, is that you? And she's like, yeah, that's me. And then the girl walks out of the office. And then later on in the day, the counselor goes up to her and is like, hey, listen, what's going on with that video? Like, is that you? Like, what's going on? She's like, yeah, that's me. My dad beats me all the time. And then the kid walked away. Not reported. Not reported. Not reported to CPS, not reported to the police.
Should be fired.
The third time is when my case comes in. The kid comes into school beaten and bruised and swollen, and then they remove the kid from the parents' custody, right? And then that's when I get the investigation of child abuse.
But it took 3 fucking times to
It
get
took
to
3
you.
times. The first time, it's easy. Hey, CPS, this girl says that she got beat. I don't really know what's going on. Here you go. And then CPS begins an investigation.
God, it almost reminds me of how it goes with domestic disputes, whether the calls be coming in from the wife or whether they're coming in from the husband. But you see all the time with domestic disputes between partners where the cops, they went the first time, and then they went a second time, and then they went a third time, and then, oh, guess what? That fourth time, someone died. They went 3 fucking times, and they could have done something about it those 3 fucking times, but they didn't, and now someone's dead. That's what that reminds me of, really, for the most part. And it's just like, dog. Oh. But I understand. It, like, cops can only do so much. They have to stay within the constraints of the law. We don't actually have Frank Castles like you wished for, and like I sometimes wish for too, especially when it comes to these types of people. We don't need a vigilante for all crime, just this one, I feel. But...
And then the law enforcement referral from CPS comes to me, and then if CPS brings...
Oh, good. I've been hearing such good things about that movie. I'm so glad that it's... I'm definitely going to give it a watch, for sure. If I can find it for rent on YouTube, I'm going to hit it up.
Brings her in, does an interview, and it's valid, I go talk to dad and arrest him. That didn't happen the first time. The second time, there's video fucking proof that she's got a video on her phone and shows you, and then you do nothing, and yeah, and so like that. Those are the two. That's
You know what's crazy to me? My aunt works in the school system. She works in the school system. She's been working in the school system since I've been alive, really. And she's always worked with special needs kids, but on occasion she'll work with not special, just normal kids. Not normal kids, just not special needs kids. I don't want to make it seem like I'm speaking bad about the special needs kids. Just she would deal with special needs kids and just regular kids. And my aunt, she'll tell. I talk to her a lot, daily, and she'll tell me that CPS does not fuck around. She'll tell me stories about how like CPS will show up at your house for some of the craziest shit. Like she was telling me this one story about this kid who was just showing his ass, bro. He was being a straight up brat at school and blah, blah, blah. And he went home and dad beat his ass. He goes to school the next day and one of the teachers sees it. And even though this kid's a fucking brat, even though this kid probably deserved that ass whooping from dad, CPS gets called on the dad. And I'm just like, bro, like he's being a parent. Are you kidding me? And so she tells me these stories about like the swift nature and the heavy hand and the ridiculousness of CPS sometimes. But then I hear shit like this and it's just like, yo, what are you? Something's getting lost in translation, or this shit does not work the same everywhere. All right. How much more is left of this? Because I have to go deal with minis.
one that I'm directly involved in. That's one that I happen to know about that I'm not investigating. And I can tell you that myself and the people in my unit are concerned, but we've made complaints, and people in my chain of command above me have made complaints, and we've had to go back to be like, let's look at this address of the school.
What's
that?
What's the outcome you want on this? Like I don't.
I want the one school counselor that I investigated arrested for failing to report. You're not a school counselor if you don't know how to tell people that a child's being abused. She needs to be arrested, or at least charged. If you want to put her on probation, fucking fine. But something needs to happen. And I'm not saying it needs to happen as like there's no legal system. I'm saying that there has to be a repercussion, so then people who see if you don't report because you didn't report, that there's repercussions.
So like,
but it's just crazy that people don't know that already.
That people aren't reporting because they're worried the system will fuck them. But if you don't report, the system will.
Hold on.
Because they're worried the system will fuck them. But if you don't report, the system will fuck you too.
So
like you need to do your job.
It's like this dual concern, right? You don't have to talk to the police. Like everybody has their own individual rights for self-preservation. You know,
you can report anonymously, man. That works just as good.
Your Fourth Amendment rights. You don't have to Miranda rights. You don't have to talk to me. But it's different when you're a mandated reporter. And it's different when parents aren't being told why their kid. If you've got a kid. You don't have a kid yet. Not you either. If you picked up your fucking toddler from school and they pissed themselves and they're crying, and you're like, oh my God, what's Jimmy? What's going on with you? The first thing you would do is go up to the teacher and be like, hey, what happened? And you would expect a real answer. Somebody tried to steal Jimmy. What you wouldn't expect is for that school to delete video footage. What you wouldn't expect is...
I would expect a phone call to the parents immediately. Like, because your child should not be pissing himself at school. Unless this child actually has a issue. Maybe they're a bedwetter or something like that. But There's no reason that your child should be pissing themselves at school. They should be allowed to go to the bathroom and shit like that. And for another person to make them piss their pants, like, I don't know. We had one kid in the 3rd grade that pissed his pants because he was so busy playing he didn't want to go to the bathroom. He pissed his pants and kept playing. On the monkey bars, on the swings, didn't give a damn. He's like, well, I'm out here, bro. You can't stop me from playing. Living his best life. I can't recall if his parents came to the school and were like, hey, why do you piss his pants? I'm pretty sure his dad was like, God damn it, son. Again, you got to start going to the bathroom, right? So I don't know.
For that school to be like, oh, you know what? I'm not sure. Something happened. You'll have to talk to an administrator about it. I'm not sure. About it. It's people that are afraid of doing the right thing. Like these school teachers and principals are afraid to do the right thing. And like I said, we can guess why. I've got my own hypothesis. This is why.
Dude, our disciplinarian in high school, still remember him, Mr. Lindsay. He was prior service in the military. I can't really remember what he did. All I knew is that I was afraid of him. Deathly afraid of that dude.
But either way, they're...
Coach Lindsay, actually, is what we called him, because he was a coach and also did disciplinarian shit as well. He was almost like the principal, but not. He just handed out all the punishment, man. He was like a bouncer.
Failing to do the right thing for one reason.
Which most of our schools had, man. We had the principal and then the disciplinarian. The disciplinarian was like its own title of a job. And that was him. And let me tell you, he was him. He struck fear. But like, he wasn't a dick or anything. But like, he would fuck you up, man, if you did some dumb shit.
Or another. And some of them are bad. And I'll give you another example. This case might have been a fluke. It could have been like, kids experimenting and then one of them got scared. It could have been absolutely nothing. It still could be absolutely nothing. I've left 6 messages on a principal's voicemail saying, hey, I just need you to talk to me. I need the phone numbers of the parents. I only have the phone numbers of the kids. I don't want to call the kids. Please give me the phone numbers of the parents, of the adults of these kids, of the police report that you called 911 for, to have police already show up. I just don't have the phone numbers for the parents, and I can't get a return phone call. How many times do I got to call a school principal to be like, hey, there's a potential sexual assault. I just need to talk to the parents. And I can't get a return phone call?
It's fucking wild.
And I just don't know why they would think that hiding it would be a better idea.
Like they're and for some reason they're protected. And my opinion from all of this and everything else is that it is the legal representatives of the Buffalo City schools that are advising, educating, scaring, whatever you want to say it is, to these administrators, teachers, counselors. Don't talk to police. Don't make a police report. Have the police report, instead of say sexual assault, make it information only.
Isn't that in itself illegal? Is that not coercion? Unless I'm not remembering the definition of coercion correctly, but that's what that sounds like, man. When you're either intimidating or scaring someone, or intentionally lying to someone about a result that won't happen, really, in order for them to do whatever it is that you want them to do, and putting them in a stressful situation, making it seem like it'll be the end of their world if they don't comply with what that sounds like coercion. Or at the very least, I don't know.
Well, you want to bury a sexual assault with a kid? Have a fucking cop show up and then have them write down everybody's name and say information only, and then don't forward it to Special Victims Unit.
Albion Online is a sandbox MMORPG. Instead of following a laid out.
Yeah. 5 kids, 7 kids are by one other kid in the school, right? They're 14, he's 16. It doesn't fucking matter if it's not a crime or if it was consensual. If somebody says I was and I felt bad about it, it's my job to investigate it. Why?
And I don't even know why schools, especially if it's child on child, bro, again, you can't control everything that happens at a school. Shit's gonna happen, man. A whole bunch of shit happened at my high school. And when people were caught and when people got in trouble, it got fixed. Right? The teachers would fix it. The principal or the disciplinarian or maybe a cop would come in there and fix the fucking problem. Right? But like,
are you stopping that? And so
it doesn't make any, like, no one's gonna look at your school as bad because like something happened with other kids. There's gonna be fights. There's going to be people having sex in the library, right? There's gonna be this. There's gonna be that. There's gonna be a whole bunch of stuff, right? It's school, and especially when you get to the high school level, that's a whole separate world of bullshit, shenanigans, trouble, and shit like that. And that's just how it's gonna happen because kids are kids, right? And there's nothing to look down upon your. I don't understand that logic. I just can't.
Yeah, I was gonna do it on the main podcast. If you want to throw it at the end, that's cool. But I might be asking for financial assistance after this goes live. But I'm okay with it because
you're doing the right thing.
It's fucking me up. It's fucking me up. I can't deal with it no more.
You know, something that I've learned from our little podcast is ever since we've opened it up to like first responders, I've read a lot of those stories in there. And first responders deal like PTSD. I think it's like for the active duty military, when you go to war, it's like it's highs and lows. Like you just get a shit show or nothing. Like it's all over the place. But first responders, it's just a constant thing. And like you being in the smack dab middle of both, bro, I don't know how you do it. Like people in general, like cops in general who deal with like sex crimes or child sex crimes, I couldn't do it. I'd be going to prison.
Because it's the idea of,
dude, I feel the same way. I can't do that. I don't have the physical or moral restraint to do a job like that. And what he said about PTSD in the military, he's not wrong. It's highs and lows, man. It's up and down. And you're not deployed all the time. You go for a year, you come back for 6 months, maybe you go back again for 13 months, you come back for maybe a year this time, or maybe 2 years this time, or maybe you go 3 years without deploying at all, and then on that 4th year, you deploy again. So like, you may have PTSD over here, you may have PTSD over there, you may have PTSD because of that, or at this time, or at that time, or in the future. But and PTSD is not specifically related to the military. I hope that people don't have that very narrow view of PTSD because it's so broad, bro. You can get PTSD from a car accident, okay? And it's much more nuanced than what people think. And so yeah, as an EMT, man, someone that works in the emergency room, some of these doctors that are there at 3 o'clock in the morning to receive a gunshot victim, it's just like, and that's all the time for them. It's nonstop, yada yada yada, and like the mental gymnastics that you must do to probably try to stay sane in between all that and not let it negatively impact your mood or your work. Yeah, God forbid you have family with kids and you go home after a day of seeing awfulness, and I can only imagine, man, trying to interact with your family after staring at death all day. It's got to be like mentally draining and exhausting. It's,
like at least when you're talking about military trauma, it's like that's over there.
You're in war. Well, that's the thing. You're in war. You are fighting the enemy. You're like, chances are innocent aren't. You're not taking the life of an innocent. It's very rare. You're fighting enemy combatants. You're shooting blah blah blah, and then you come back.
Yeah, but it's also another thing when those enemy combatants aren't over the age of 18. Rough sometimes.
And you're like, oh, and it's a separation versus here. And it's not the innocent you're seeing and then interacting with or pulling up to a crime scene, as you said. It's like, hey, there was a fucking drunk driver and a baby got smeared across the road. And then you have to go home immediately.
And know that's going on around you all the time.
Yeah.
It's like
different world.
It's like an acute injury versus just like sustained overuse injury almost.
Yeah.
Like I would join the military and go to war over being a police officer. I'm so sorry. Any day.
Same. Levi feels the exact same way as I do. Military over police every day of every day. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Possible dangers of being a police officer are around every corner. And yes, I will agree with you that there's danger around every corner in a combat zone, but you have less to worry about, bro. You do. It's much easier. Prove me wrong. It is so much easier to be in the military than it is to be a police officer. And I say that as a veteran. Because, bro, it's just like you go to combat. CNN's not there watching you. The fucking what are those people that are constantly following cops with cameras, antagonizing them and pissing them off? What are those people like the I forget what they're called, but those people, and you got the media watching you, you got people watching you, you got cameras on you all the time. People are always waiting for you to fuck up. People are always waiting for you to make a bad decision. People are always waiting for a reason to just fuck you, man, because that's the way people view cops. That is not the way people view us veterans, at least not anymore, I don't think. At least not as much as on the other side. And we go over there and we kill people, we're held as heroes. As a cop, you kill someone here, even if you're in the right, people are going to call you a piece of shit, whether you like it or not. And they're going to drag your name through the mud, and they're going to call you the worst things imaginable. And I would not trade that career for it's just, I couldn't. There's so much more scrutiny. You're under the microscope all the time. I don't even know how y'all do y'all's jobs, man. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. You go left, you're fucked. Right, fucked. Up, down the middle, sideways. It's just like you're always one bad or good decision away from going to jail yourself as a police officer, even if your heart's in the right place. And that's just like, that's not for me, bro. Auditors, that's what they're called. Yes, that's not for me. That's not, I couldn't do it. Because I have a completely different attitude when it comes to violence, right? And the military is easier, deployments are easier, you have more freedom. You have more freedom. And guess what? If you break the law in a combat zone, the odds of you getting in trouble are significantly lower than the odds of you getting in trouble as a police officer if you break the law. Okay? All right. So I'm not saying that to say that you should. Okay, don't take that as encouragement. But I would never, man. It's just, yeah. There's all these. Ugh.
Paper towels. Paper towels. I got them right here. Boom. Because of that exact.
That was.
You're gonna get pink lip.
Get the smelling salts.
Are you available later?
Did you just do a line of energy drink?
Yeah. Ooh, I feel better after getting all that off my fucking chest.
Well, thank you for it, dude, brother.
Bro,
thank you.
There you go.
Thank you
Dude,
for sharing, brother.
I'm honestly like I'm for real. Like I'm fucking. I feel like there is gonna be. I am gonna have some sort of repercussions because I'm trying to do the right thing.
We got your back.
Like I feel like people.
You have so many people that will have your back on that,
dude.
We will show our ass to make that happen.
I did that already.
On a different issue, yeah, you did literally do that.
Dude, no one will ever not have your back for doing the right thing. Even if you lose it all in the process. Because, it's... And that just shows you the type of character that Angry Cops has, because a true character is what you do when nobody's watching. And I had no idea he was doing this. So, And there's probably a lot of people that had no idea Angry Cops was doing this or what he even goes through or even an inkling of what he has to deal with on a day-to-day basis. So
do cops have whistleblower protection? I know military does. Like, honest question.
Well, I mean, there's a whistleblower protection for everybody. We're
out of Pringles.
Just blowing the can.
So yeah,
I'll decide at a random point when I want to end this. I have to go eat with my niece, but
and like if there's like a legal thing where they're going to come after me, I bet you there is going to be a legal thing where they come after me, and I don't know how I'm going to be protected or what that's going to be.
It's worked out for you so far.
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't know what I don't know what's going to be so far, but like the things that I just said, you know, right? And because I'm concerned about them, it's well, you said the one case is mine.
It's a sad world we live in when the one person trying to do the right thing is having to watch his back because there's people that don't want him to succeed. Imagine that. There's people that don't want him to succeed in his endeavor of protecting children. That is the world we live in. And when you sit down and think about it, yeah, it will make you shed a tear or two.
And that's how I know about it. But like, these are concerns from higher ranking people in the Buffalo Police Department.
Imagine having to go through so much work just to do the right thing. They teach us that as kids. Boys, girls, always do the right thing. And as it turns out, doing the right thing is one of the hardest things on the fucking planet. Or so that's how they make it.
These are concerns from patrol people in the Buffalo Police Department. These are concerns from the district attorney's office. Like, the district attorney's office is like, you know, Rich, like, I know what you're dealing with. This is fucked up. I've got this. I've got that. This is going on. That's how I know that, like, they're the lawyers from, or that's the information that I'm getting that, you know, back up that thinking that the lawyers that represent the schools are not just not responding, but also obstructionists, which is, you know, what the, you know, like, and if I can be frank,
you should be disbarred as a lawyer if that's, but then again, there has to be some kind of loophole if they feel ballsy enough to do this and they're getting away with it. So, I mean, like, either they found something in the law or I don't know, but yo, I think we can end it here. I think I got the gist of it. What's coming up is they're going to talk about the podcast. This says police officer, so they're probably going to talk about a police officer of some kind. White House contracts, slippery slope. Thank you. I think we can stop it. I think we heard a bulk of everything that we needed to hear from this. And who requested this? Roth. If by some chance there is something in here that is important that I missed that you still want me to watch or get to, then we can just do it tomorrow. I have to get to my niece. And I have to eat. I should have gone live earlier in the day. It took me a while to go live today, but we'll be live tomorrow. So yeah, tomorrow music on Twitch if y'all are down. Otherwise we'll go live here on YouTube again. So all right, guys, gals, was fun. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for chilling with me. Thanks for the memberships and the follows and all that stuff on Twitch lately. Really appreciate y'all. If y'all need anything, y'all can hit me up. Discord, which is right here. Hey, my homie Voss is on. What up? And yeah, I will see y'all tomorrow. Earlier tomorrow than what I was live today. Usually I don't go live. I don't wait till that late to go live. But yeah, here we are. Anyways, love y'all. Take it easy. Have a good Sunday. And I will see y'all tomorrow, beginning of the week.